All right. Hello. My name's James. Welcome to our first day of our preparation live stream. So, the intent of this is for full transparency. Just want to film kind of how I'm doing this research. Really, what it comes down to, guys, is I think a lot of us, we don't know who to trust. And we have some major issues facing humanity. And so, my intent is to devote fully the next 40 days to research, to find out for myself, but also for others to share, uh, what the truth is on some of these major issues. But this first preparation live stream, the intent is to just share what the foundation is that I've been building for maybe the last 4 or 5 months. Since January was really the first refined video that I posted, the end of January. Uh, I've done quite a bit since then towards this effort, and I'm inviting you to come along with me. These kind of informal research sessions, they're not going to be real exciting, and I know right now it's probably, I didn't put effort into advertising and building up an audience for, the first few sessions. I think over time that's going to come. But the intent is that I'm not the only one doing this research, because I don't have, I have wave top knowledge on a lot of these issues. And I want us to go deep into it and figure out really how urgent are these issues facing our species and our planet and future generations. Today's wonderful, right? It's 4th of July. It's the 250th um, anniversary celebration of America's independence, the United States of America. And that's really special. And, that's partly why I chose this as a starting point for this 40-day mission, to kind of coincide with that. And I've been really enjoying YouTube and on social media. A lot of Europeans and people from all over the world have been expressing how generous and hospitable and kind the American people are. And yeah, that fills me with pride, because, that's my background too, is I was born in the United States, in one of the largest states called Texas. You know, we talked about it before in previous videos. None of us have really done anything to deserve or to earn, definitely to choose where we're born or our nationality. So it's natural all of us have pride of where we come from, our origin story. But that's just my particular life journey. So again, this is just an informal session. So let's just get going, guys. I'm gonna share my desktop, just kind of some thumbnails we made. Mm-mm. What I'm looking for is a PowerPoint format that I used for my last live stream. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, I know a lot of this isn't going to be real exciting to watch, but like once we get going, guys. So what I did is I subscribed for the pro versions of ChatGPT, Claude, and perplexity. So those three AI resources, I've got the paid subscriptions there to help us out in our research. I'm going to structure these future live streams just how we did our Just War live stream. Make PNG images that we can flow through during the actual presentation in PowerPoint, but just tell us how to set that up in PowerPoint. What do you guys think of AI? Do you use it? To me, I think, yeah, there's some issues, right, with all the data centers. But to me, if you're not using AI to help you in your day-to-day tasks, you're already probably like 20 years behind. So my name's James. I'll just talk while I'm kind of sorting through this. I reached a spiritual crisis back in September, the end of September. And so I spent over 20 years in the military, 24 years in uniform serving in the United States, right? And again, it's not about any specific nation. It's just my life story. You have your own journey, whether you're from the United States also or from a different nation, different profession, but we're all in this together. And so that's one of the main reasons I'm devoting this much time and resources, right? I'm doing all this on a pensioner's salary or on my pension. So it is a considerable financial sacrifice for me. But I hit a spiritual crisis, my whole life, right? Like we absorb information, and a lot of the information we absorb is not very positive. And some of it's very concerning, and that's really what I'm focused on. Yeah, perfect. This is what I was looking for, guys. Yeah, we did a live stream on just war theory. We can kind of go through these slides real quick. But I don't think I did a very good job. And that, that's something that we have to do every day is improve, get a little bit better, or make as much improvement as you can every single day. But we talked about just war theory and what makes a war just in the modern age. All right, bear with me for a few more moments. And let's see, we have Claude open and ChatGPT. I think we'll just use ChatGPT today, this morning. All right, we've built the foundation in PowerPoint to start making kind of talking points that we can use to help guide us during today's formal live stream later. But let's go through an outline of the foundation we've built so far. And don't make a response until I type in capital letters end or say end. So we built our YouTube human values community. We've published several videos and shorts, and I'll add the specific numbers for those on the actual slide. We've built a humanvalues.com website, but we've transitioned since then to humanvalues.org because we applied for and was approved to serve as a nonprofit organization. So we transitioned to a .org website. And those were the significant actions we've taken so far. And then now really the entire purpose was to get into this 40-day mission. Because as I was saying, yeah, I was at a dark point. I think a lot of us get overwhelmed by negative news. When you're talking about climate change, right? We're just at the beginning of July. That's not even peak heat in terms of summer. And already Europeans are baking. Across America, it's extremely hot. All over the world, guys. And if you start to think about not only what that means for today, but what does that mean for next year, for 5 years, 10 years? You know, what concerns me the most, 50 years, 100 years from now. And we're going to take a look into that. We developed the motto also initially, right? At multiple ones, but doing more than words. How many of us just talk and all the talking faces on YouTube and the media, even us, you know, we all feel the issues that are happening right now in real time. And we're very good about expressing our concern and, you know, expressing anger and frustration, expressing doubt even. But not a lot of us are really devoted to taking action. So that's what one of the mottos we have is doing more than words. And so that's what this is right now. I know right now I'm a talking face on your TV if you're watching this or your electronic device, but the intent is to do more than just talk about this kind of stuff because I think the general consensus is that these issues we're going to be discussing are very real. And we're going to start looking at taking action versus just talking about it. And then the other motto that we have, excuse me, is three words, right? Duty, honor, humanity. And let's look at what those 3 words mean to you and just what they mean to me before we look up their official definition is duty, right? Do you have a duty to yourself? I don't know. That's kind of like self-interest, right? That's human nature. We look out for our own survival. That's very basic. I wouldn't call that duty, looking out for your own well-being. But duty to me implies something more than just yourself. Whether it's your duty to your family, to your community, right? And then just keep expanding from there. But to me, it's a duty all the way at every level, all the way to humanity and to the planet, to the global community level. Do you feel a sense of duty to that level? I hope you do. And I hope by the end of this 40 days, we all have a stronger sense of duty for the entire global community. And there's something else too, right? Not just current global community, July 2026. Do you have a sense of duty to future generations? And for those of you that have children, I'm sure you do, right? You look at your children, and any good parent or uncle or aunt, right? You know what I mean? For future generations in your bloodline, like you're worried and you're concerned and you're trying to build a positive future for the future generation. But how far does that extend? To me, I extend as far beyond today as we can get. Yeah, I have a sense of duty for future generations of humanity, and I hope you share that with me. Honor, duty, honor, humanity. What does honor mean to you? Right? Is it just a buzzword? No, it's doing the harder right over the easier wrong. We all have those moments, right, where you can choose to do. We feel it, right? I hope all of us feel it. Sometimes you make so many compromises that your moral compass is skewed to where you start making these wrong decisions morally, and maybe they don't feel so bad after a while, and then you get used to it and you escalate, and before you know it, you go from the spectrum of being a not pleasant person to a bad person. And then some people, they reach all the way to the end of that spectrum to being evil. And yeah, we can explore things like that. But choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, I tell you what, guys, like this isn't in my nature to do this kind of stuff. Like I never in my life envisioned that I would be doing this, but part of it, that spiritual crisis that I mentioned, and I explored that in our very first live stream, which was very poor quality. But part of that was that I was resigned to seeking a life of comfort and peace after 24 years serving in military. And not easy job, guys. Like I volunteered for, most people in the military would say, I think they would agree with you. Like, yeah, James's background in the military, he chose a difficult, hazardous, high risk, challenging duty as part of his military profession and military career. So after I came out of that experience after 24 years, a little over 24 years, yeah, I thought I earned it, guys, to go travel and live up life to the most of my abilities. And I did do that. I tried to do it. Right? I'm not narcissistic type of guy. I hope you get that feel from me. Like I'm an average, normal guy. So I still balance responsibilities with my family. Being a good son, a good brother, a good uncle, a good friend. Those responsibilities are still important to me. But in terms of duty, I felt my duty. I no longer felt a strong sense of duty once I finished my military career and retired and hung up the uniform and wore the uniform for the last time. That sense of duty was gone, and not any longer, guys, but for a period of time, yeah, I felt internal shame for that because I knew I have a lot more to give, not just to family, friends, right? Like your tribe. of people you care about and love. But I have a lot more to give to the greater good, to humanity. And I know that sounds overly ambitious. Like, what is this guy talking about? He thinks he can make an impact on humanity. Yeah, I'm looking you in your eyes and I'm saying yes. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to make a positive impact on humanity, and I hope you come along with this journey, and I hope you get involved, and I hope you participate, and I hope eventually, right? We all of us try to make an impact on humanity, and maybe what does that mean? Maybe that just means trying to have a positive impact on other human beings and living creatures that we interact with and come across in our daily lives. If we all do that, yeah, that's a lot better than what's happening right now, I think. So, duty, honor, and let's talk about something else, right? I read a book called The Speed of Trust, something like it. The whole book was called, and I really regret not having my notes for that book, but I've moved around so much, I lost those notes, so I need to reread that book. But let's look at that, guys. You know, that's the benefit of going live is that we can just look this stuff up. But this entire book was talking about like how, yeah, Stephen Covey. This entire book's talking about how we need trust, right? Otherwise, words stop having meaning. One-on-one dialogue, right? If someone lies to you and you no longer can trust what they're saying, that relationship is probably severed. And then you keep expanding it. If there's a distrustful family, distrustful group of people, distrustful organization, do you trust the organization that you're a part of? Do you trust your organizational leaders? And keep expanding out into government, state government, local government, national government. Do you trust that they're looking out for your long-term, even immediate interest? If trust is broken, guys, and you know, I'm trying not to use dramatic language to say things like, "Hey, trust is broken in society." No, there's still trust there, but it's strained. Let's put it like that. Trust in our institutions, whatever nation you're from. I think you would agree that trust in our institution are strained. Up. I don't want that. I just want to take a snapshot. Maybe we'll talk about this later. If you guys haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. And you know, this community is called Human Values. And I can't tell you exactly why I was inspired to name our community Human Values, but trust and integrity, honesty, honor, you know, those are the foundations of what I'm talking about when I say human values. I think we become too accepting of distrustful leaders, distrustful people, and the accountability for being dishonest. It seems like it's decreased to the point where it's almost accepted. Would you say that it's accepted? Dishonesty in modern society? I feel that it is. Duty, honor, and humanity. And we talked about humanity already, right? Not just, again, you know, that's the benefit of going live. Not just for all the human beings alive right now, but for future generations as well. We're talking about human population right now. Based on known information and statistics, what's the estimated size of human population right now, July 2026? What do you guys think, guys? The last I heard was 8 billion. It's probably 8.3 billion human beings. And there's no real way of knowing, right, what the complete size of the human population is. That's one thing, playing with these different tools. Maybe Claude gives a more thorough answer, but it seems to be a little slower than ChatGPT. Yeah, 8.3 billion. But we're talking about humanity, not just right now, 2026. We're talking about future generations, guys. Are we being good custodians? Us, whoever's alive right now, are we being good custodians of the planet and the natural resources and all that? I don't think there's many people that would say modern civilization, modern society is doing a really outstanding job of being good custodians of natural resources, finite resources that future generations are going to have access to and will have to use as well. That's what we're talking about, guys. Our motto, doing more than words and doing it as part of our duty, honor, and humanity. What do you think? I'm not set on this stuff, right? Like those are words, but those are powerful words and powerful values and powerful meanings. But if you guys have something, let me see if anyone's even in the chat right now. If you guys have, and I'm not worried about this, guys. Like I told you, I didn't advertise. I don't expect a lot of people to be part of the chat right now. Yeah, no one's in here, guys. But like I said, you think that hurts my feelings at all? Absolutely not. I will be disappointed in 40 days if we don't have a little bit more participation. Like, I'll look internally and say, like, James, you weren't as effective as you needed to be bringing in more people to participate in this effort, in this mission, in this organization. So, and it's preparatory session, anyways. All right. So honestly, that takes a lot of pressure off of me. So I'm just reading what I wrote in ChatGPT already. So the purpose of today's formal live stream and this research live stream we're in right now is to lay out what we've done to build the foundation, of human values. So we built our YouTube community named Human Values. We've continually refined our mission statement. What's the purpose of our human values community? We've produced and published multiple videos, long form videos, as well as YouTube shorts. We've established social media accounts, right? Social media, when you say it, has a negative connotation, but I'm talking about trying to build this community across different social media platforms. We've built 2 Reddit communities, a Facebook community, Instagram, and TikTok. And I'll be completely open. I have not really invested much time in that. It's just me individually, but we're talking about building a foundation. We've also built Human Values life.org website and built a foundation for that. and we've built the foundation, and we are currently in execution of our human values 40-day mission. And that's where we're at. And just kind of bulletize what we've accomplished up to this point and add anything else that I've skipped. Yeah, I think that's good. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try to keep talking. So if you're driving or, doesn't get bored with just dead silence. So to find our mission, I don't like using this AI app because I can't have like multiple windows. So let's fix that. All right, let's run, guys. Maybe you can only use one or the other. So let's quit the app. So I don't want to call it achievements or accomplishments. What's another way we can talk about what we've, like milestones? All right. So what we're doing is just preparing, right? Transparency is part of that value of trust. So we're going to start doing some deep research on some of these topics. So I want to be as transparent as possible. Of course, based on my own life experiences and what I've heard over time, I have my own preconceived conclusions and thoughts and assumptions. about these issues we're going to be discussing. So I want to be as transparent as possible, and we're going to go wherever the data and the truth leads us. All right. Yeah, such a good the videos that are out now with all the Europeans and travelers and people from all over the world are just having a great experience in the United States. It's very encouraging, right? Very positive. I'm going through our human values YouTube community to get our mission statement. All right. So just bulletizing some key components from our mission statement. Man, when I got out of the military, guys, I didn't think I would ever have to do this kind of stuff. But, those are part of the skills that you learn. Yeah, I really haven't published a whole lot of videos, guys. I really wish more people would watch this short about Malala. I think she's had such an inspirational story. Mm. But she spoke up anyways. She was shot in the face by Taliban. She's a Pakistani, her name Malala. Yeah, beautiful human being. She was a proponent for education for female students because in some repressive nations, females are not afforded the same human value of education that male. Yeah, what a fighter. I really admire her story. I don't know, maybe this isn't even that important, right? Like people can go to the site and see it. Yeah, let's keep going. Hmm. All right, let's see if we can get this right. It's all right. Let's see, guys. I'm not going to do this live. Like, this is just monotonous stuff, but I do want to show you. I do want to show you some more foundational documents that we've made or I've made. What's the best way to share our foundational documents? And I think it's the same issue that we work through for our Founders Journal weekly publications. Yeah, I'll work through this after I end this live stream, guys. But if anyone's still, hopefully, I'm going to put some chapters on here. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be for this specific preparation period. I don't think anyone's really going to find this too interesting, what came before this. But this global solutions analysis framework, I think that's what I developed, taken from different methods out there to include these frameworks. It's just how to take a complex problem and how to analyze it, break it down into different components. You see, like, as an example, I think climate change will be the first one that we look at. And I know there's a lot of information out there, but it kills me when I'm reading things and seeing things where they're completely opposite, guys. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, how many people say, the Earth has natural cycles that it's going through and solar activity, and then the other side of the camp says, like, No, every little bit of CO2 that the human species releases into the atmosphere collectively is going to have catastrophic effects and potentially life-ending effects on the planet. So between those two, really don't understand. That's what I'm focused on doing, is finding out what's the truth. And if you know the truth, that's what I'm asking. Come online and like share that. Yeah, what are the facts? Everyone's making a lot of assumptions and we have uncertainties about what's going on. Label the root causes. And who benefits from each side saying, right, that no, everything's fine with the climate, it's normal, it's going to go back down. Like, we're lucky we're not in an ice age, or technically we are in an ice age because we have polar ice caps. You guys know what I'm saying. On both sides, there's stakeholders and different actors that benefit, potentially profit from different narratives. So let's get to the bottom of it. Lay out future scenarios based on scientific evidence right now and based on experts. I'm just a guy who retired recently from the military. I'm not the expert on any of this stuff. So let's identify, who are the experts? What are they saying? I think it's been pretty quiet. And again, just talking about one issue that we're going to look at of being climate change. Intervention options. That's the whole point of this, guys. Like, what needs to be done to curb the worst case scenarios? Anyways, guys, so this is just one of the documents that I wanted to review with you today. This is the purpose of the 40-day mission. Looking at the activities going on around the world for the World Cup, I love to see it. People from different nations coming together in North America and Central America to celebrate and to support and to watch the World Cup. If billions of people can unite around football, around soccer, like, why can't we do that around some of these major issues? And I think part of it is we don't know what the actual ground truth is. I think these are some of the books that were recommended to read about each varying topic, and I have not. I have purchased some of these books, but yeah, there's so much information out there, guys. One of the books I'm reading right now is called, let me bring up my e-reader. I don't think it's a very good name, because Factfulness. No offense to the author. I don't think it's, because it's not easy to remember. I'm not even sure that's a real word. Factfulness. But it's one of the books recommended for preparation for this 40-day mission. But so far it's been pretty good, but I don't think the author kind of hits what I'm concerned about. I think he wrote this in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and really the point of the book is, at that point in time, hey guys, humanity's, we have a sense of dread, but really in reality, humanity, based on certain metrics such as infant mortality, longevity, like how long people are living, education, access to clean water, certain metrics like that. There's never been a better time to be alive than right now. And maybe that means we are at peak human civilization, or close to peak human civilization, when it's the best time in the history of humanity to be alive. But that's the book I'm currently reading right now. I'm about halfway through, and then this was another recommendation. I'll show it up, but How the World Really Works is another book that I'm reading. But I've only gotten a few pages into it, so not a whole lot of feedback from me on that one. If you're watching this, and I'd be surprised, right, if anyone ever gets this far, maybe. Again, this is just a preparatory live stream for transparency. And so it's not meant to like maintain your attention or to entertain you and help you look at the day one daily briefing. And that's going to be that will be a more polished presentation. But so just looking at these, yeah, we talked about it, right? It makes me sick to think that there's human beings out there in powerful, influential positions. Let's, as an example, and I'm not going to demonize anybody or vilify them, but let's talk about CEOs, chief executive officers of energy companies, Chevron, Exxon, Shell, et cetera, right? They have, I think it's called a fiduciary obligation. It's a legal obligation to their shareholders to increase profits. So, I think a lot of people in those organizations, they have to compromise their integrity and their honor and values like that because they're beholden to their shareholders and beholden to their stock price. So they can't come out and say, as an example, guys, they can't come out and say, hey, we gotta stop, we gotta stop a certain behavior because that certain behavior is detrimental to future generations and detrimental to our entire planet. But that makes me sick to think about. We've built a system like that where, right, they have a legal obligation to compromise. But these are the founding principles of what we're doing. This is day one, guys. It's day one. It's me talking into a microphone, looking at a camera without a lot of input. But man, if it's like this on day 40, yeah, I'll take ownership of it. I failed. But day one, I'm not really stressing it, guys. Yeah, we got to understand what the issues are. We have to understand who the stakeholders are, right? Everyone, we're talking about humanity. Everyone's a stakeholder, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's powerful people, influential people, influential organizations and corporations that it's not to their best interest to address some of these issues or to help resolve some of these issues. I don't understand it, guys. Because a lot of these people, they have children too, right? Are they telling them like, hey, don't reproduce because 2 generations from now, I think we're going to be living in a hellscape. Or maybe not, right? That's an assumption on my part based on information that I've been exposed to. Maybe it's wrong. We're gonna dig deep into it. And this is the last thing I want to cover before I end this live stream and keep preparing on my own. But we talked about the purpose and the methodology used. I think that's redundant, right? We've already kind of been through that. And shame on me. I thought I had already put the purpose of this document was resources, I thought. but I need to fill this out a little bit more. But so I've subscribed, like I told you, to three different AI tools out there: ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and they each have their different purpose and what they're best at. I've subscribed to Nature Journal. I was recommended as like the best scientific journal to use as references, and purchased a couple books. But besides for building up the studio, that's kind of the resources that we're using, and we're gonna get after it, guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and prepare for the formal daily out brief. And yeah, if you're watching this, I hope I'm asking you. I'm asking you to get more involved, or help me. If you have a different understanding of what's going on or the specific issue that we're discussing, provide input, share it. You have a voice. That's one of the things that kind of led me to my spiritual and physical crisis back in September 2025. I'll never forget it, guys. I went in depth into explaining what that experience was like for me in my first live stream. But part of it is because I know I have a voice, but I chose not to use it. And I chose to kind of keep these concerns that I have internal. And yeah, it almost destroyed me, guys. But not anymore. We're running with this effort. We're running with this mission. And I'm planning to run as hard and as long as possible. And I hope you're getting involved as well. With that, guys, I'm going to leave you with just doing more than words. And those three words, think about it, reflect on it, what each one means to you. Duty. Do you have a strong sense of duty to something more than yourself? Honor. Are we doing it in an honorable way? Choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. And humanity, right? We're not doing it just for ourselves. We're not doing it just for the population that exists right now. When I see children out, parents with their little kids, it kills me, guys. Like thinking about these major issues and seeing this beautiful child, beautiful human child. And like, what kind of world are we leaving them? Right? It could be an assumption on my part. At the end of this 40 days, it will no longer be an assumption. There will be facts to back up our thoughts, our mental model for how we're seeing the future of the world. And that's the purpose, guys. But if you're watching this, I don't think anyone's on right now, right? But if you're watching it in the future, I think you can still leave comments. And I appreciate your involvement. I appreciate your input. One more thing I want to share with you guys. It's not really ready, but I built a system. Calendly. I built a system, right, where I'd love to have someone on some of these preparatory sessions, like just join a live stream using Google Meet. Let's just talk back and forth as kind of I'm building this stuff. But that's another part of our foundation that we built, is a way to do that. And I hope, I believe, yeah, this is the Calendly that I'm sharing. I'll put it in the chat for this one and future chats as well. But if you'd like to join, like my knowledge on this stuff is like an inch deep, centimeter deep. It's not very deep, but at the end of the 40 days, I hope all of us will have a deeper knowledge base on some of these major issues that we're discussing. All right, guys. Yeah, let's go. Let's keep running with this effort.